What's going on, guys? So this is Derek here coming to you with a Springans deck profile. I've been waiting to get this profile out. If you've seen my combo videos, definitely go check them out once you've seen this profile. Or if you've already seen them, this is the profile you've probably been waiting to take a look at. So I've been really racking my brain with this deck for a couple weeks now. I've played it in the past and I really like it. You know, it's definitely a very bottom tier rogue deck, but it can do some really cool things, especially now. So I'm gonna go over the deck list, explain my card choices. You know, of course, if you're interested in the Springans deck, obviously I'd love to hear your feedback and, you know, maybe what you would do different. And if you haven't, again, seen the combo videos that I've posted, definitely go check those out. That way some of this makes sense. I'll try and explain some of the Springans stuff along the way, but odds are if you're seeing this profile, you kind of already know what they do, which is good. So, all right, well, let's just get into the deck profile. So starting off with the Springans monsters, we play 2 Rocky, 2 Brothers, 1 Branga, 1 Captain Sargus, and 2 Kits. So to briefly kind of explain the function of this deck, the Springans rely on having their field spell, which is Golganda, the Great Sand Basically, this card, what it does is it lets you send any Springans card from your hand to the grave to summon one of their Xyz monsters from the extra deck if you don't control one already. And before, the way that this deck basically could play or combo is you had to find a way to see Golganda with a Springans card all the time, otherwise you pretty much could not do anything. These cards don't do anything on their own. Kit technically could be a 1-card starter, but it requires more to play versus just any average, you know, rank 4 card. So, you know, the deck felt very inconsistent. You know, most builds, you basically play 3 of these, you know, 3 Springans Booty, which is a horrible card, but you almost have to play it because you have to see this. You know, you maximize on Rocky and certain ones of these because you need to see them as well. But on the flip side, because these cards do nothing on their own, Golganda, if you can't get to Golganda with one of these, they're just dead, right? So that prompted me to find ways to create plays while still utilizing this engine in order to facilitate a deck. And that's kind of what I've done. And at least I feel like I've come up with some cool ideas for that. So these all have effects that if they are in the hand, field, or grave, they can attach themselves to a Springans Xyz monster. Kit does not do that, unfortunately, but she is a good starter, pseudo-starter, but mostly extender in the combo cases. So this is basically what the Springans engine is, okay? And I think decreasing the amount of some of these cards that we're playing in lieu of some of the other starters that we're playing is fine because they don't feel as bricky. So that's it for the Springans monsters. We're playing 1 Regulus, accessible through the combos and just easy to get to. It functions very well with the deck. Honestly, one of the problems I will say with the combos in this deck is that you don't see this card enough. Sometimes there are some combos where you want to draw this card more often, and I'm considering making one change to the deck where there's 1 card I would potentially take out to play 2 of these because my main normal summon card that I will get to, the main combo that it makes is good, but it does not have any Omni negates attached to it. So not being able to negate a spell or trap is a huge deal because your opponent could, you know, top deck Imperm and mess with your combo, or maybe they have evenly matched and your whole board's broken. So, you know, these boards that this deck can make are great, but having an Omni gate with this is huge. So I might play an extra copy of it to have more access to it more often. And yeah, I think that would be probably pretty good. So moving forward, I will say like that is one change I would probably make, is adding an extra copy of Regulus. They were playing Nemesis Flag and Nemesis Corridor. So the combos in this deck, you can reach to Thunder Dragon Colossus very easily. Plus, because you banish with Branga to search, these being able to recycle those cards end up actually being very good. So they're extenders, you get Colossus. Sorry guys, it is so dry where I am right now. Gotta keep that hydration going. So yeah, these are very useful. And again, if you haven't seen the combo videos, go watch the combo videos so you can kind of understand like where these fit in. And even if you draw them, it's okay. You can still use them as extenders and floaters. It's really good. Corridor is a little easier to draw, or a little better to draw, because sometimes there's moments where you only have like one banished monster through a couple of your different engines. And if you draw this, you can just like play it and get Colossus out, which is great. So they're not bad to draw. All right, this is where the deck gets a little weird. So we play 3 Fenrir, and this is my one Rise Heart. Rise Heart is on its way in the mail, so it'll be here soon, but Rise Heart's a level 4 fire, so there's a part of the combo where you can reborn it with Promethean Princess because it's a fire, and then link off into Ambluel and have this as a free extender floater, which is great. So there's a few things that Fenrir does, and again, this requires you to go watch the combo videos, but through trying to build combos with this deck, I realized I needed an extra body because I kept getting stuck in certain scenarios through the combos. And I'm like, I need another body. And this ended up acting in a few ways. Firstly, it is great for board breaking and going second on its own. It's a free special summon, it's awesome. The other thing is that when you search it, or when you play this, you search the Rise Heart, you normal the Rise Heart, you banish a Fenrir. They're level 7s, so you can go into Draco Sack. And you use the 2 tokens from the Draco Sack to go into Cleafort Genius, which is awesome. Because it can set up Genius before you play Golgonda and ditch Springans, which end up giving you an extra body with Draco Sack, and you already have access to Regulus. So it's a combo that, again, go watch it. But this just ended up being really, really, really phenomenal in multiple ways. A lot of times you don't even really need that setup, but it's there. And then again, the fact it doubles as just a great board breaker, because we're not playing hand traps in this deck, is awesome. So it just all works out. The fact that Rise Heart's a fire also just happens to work out, and then it's a level 4 just also happens to work out. So fantastic little package. Okay, the next package is definitely the one that most people are probably going to find the most interesting, and that's the Crystal Beast package of this deck. So we're playing 3 Pegasus, 1 Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon, the brick that we unfortunately have to play, and I'll just go ahead and back this up with the 3 Foolish Burial Goods and the 1 Rainbow Bridge of Salvation. So here's where this package came in. Again, one of the issues that Springans has, it has access to a lot of great cards in the extra deck and can combo very well. But one of the problems is that if you did not see Golgonda and you did not see a Springans, or only one or the other, you were stuck or very limited to what you could do. So I started thinking, you know, there was a time where I was playing Aratama and Sakutama because those cards were a generic rank 4 engine that you could go into Merrymaker and make some boards. But at the time, I was only getting my combo to where I ended with like Utopic Draco Future and Sargus. And that's not a very good board. Like, you're only going to get 1 or 2 interruptions that are also very easy to disrupt, you know, so it just wasn't good enough. So as I started, you know, thinking more, I came back to this, and the reason was because of this. So I was like, okay, Rainbow Bridge of Salvation, if it's in the grave, it banishes itself and it searches for Sapphire Pegasus and any field spell, right? So inherently, if I can find a way to make a good board with this as a starter, this also becomes a 1 card starter, as long as I don't draw this, right? These are the 2 cards in the deck you don't want to draw. If you draw them along with these cards, that's the only time where it's like a brick, you know, like hopefully you draw Golgonda and Rocky at that point, or Golgonda and another Spriggan's monster at that point to try and play. Otherwise it becomes tough, you know, but I think, you know, deck's 44 cards to kind of balance out some of the bricks, and you have a lot of starters and you have a lot of engine pieces, so it's okay. Statistically, you shouldn't really see these cards very much. But yeah, that's just basically where it all came from. So then, of course, came the constructing of combos for this. And if you saw my combo video, you saw where 1 Sapphire Pegasus can take you, right? It takes you to like a 5 interruption board with Colossus on the board. It's awesome. It's huge. And this is also why it's the one combo in the deck, though, that does not end with Regulus. So that's why I'm considering playing maybe another copy of Regulus, because technically Foolish Burial Goods gets you there, right? Foolish Burial Goods gets you Pegasus, and then you can search this Coliseum, which I'll talk about in a second. Off of this. So this card's crazy. If it resolves, I'm assuming your opponent doesn't have like Nib or something. Fortunately, this deck is very weak to Nib, but it's okay. Yeah, you get my point. We found a 1 card starter, and at the cost of playing a few bricks, which is fine because it's worth it. And I wanted to have another avenue to combo. I wanted to have something that could still play through certain things. And I feel like this is it. You know, if you don't want to play this package, I understand. It's not going to be for everybody. But I think if you test it and you play around with the consistency side of it over something like Prosperity and stuff, you'll find that it's very good. So I love it personally. I'm going to keep playing it for now. And I encourage you guys to play around with it and test it as well, because it just adds another layer of consistency to the deck that it didn't have before. So, okay, now to coincide with this package, by the way, I'm also playing 3 Crystal Bond. So here's the thing. I upped the card count to 44 because, again, I wanted to... There are, you know, groupings of cards in here that you don't really want to see or draw, right? But we have to see our starters. So fortunately, Crystal Beasts have this card. And what this card does is it searches for Pegasus, but it also puts a Crystal Beast in your spell and trap card zone, right? So it is basically another 1-card starter in the form of Pegasus. It is basically this deck's version of Bonfire. If you want to treat it that way a little bit, you know, Pegasus is your Snake Eye Ash, and Crystal Bond is your Bonfire to get to it. And then Foolish Burial Goods is kind of like, you know, just another engine that allows you to both get to this and to see your field spells. So collectively, you have 9 starters in the deck out of 44 cards, which means statistically you're going to draw one of them about 70% of the time, maybe even a little bit more. I think it's like 72, 73%, something like that, which is huge. And that's in a 1-card form. So you don't always have to rely on Golgonda. You don't always have to rely on having a Spriggans, but obviously if you do, that's great. It just gives you more avenues to play. So I encourage you to test it. I mean, so far on a consistency level and what it accomplishes, it's great. And again, the combos that Pegasus facilitates alone, it's just phenomenal. It's something that I haven't seen anyone else do right now. So yeah. You're obviously sacrificing hand traps to play this engine. In another, you know, world, you know, you just play, you know, 12 hand traps or something, but I just went for all gas consistency, and so far I like it better. Okay, now for the field spells, we're playing 2 Golgonda, 1 Rasoth, 1 Disc Coliseum. So these are super important to the deck in their own ways, right? One of the biggest things is Golgonda at 2, right? We're playing 2 Golgonda in a 44 card deck. But we also have the 3 Foolish Burial Goods with the Rainbow Bridge of Salvation, right? So we have Terraforming, we have Goods to get to Rainbow Bridge. And that's okay. Both of these get to Regulus and a Kashtira Fenrir, which is nice. So, you know, if you already draw one of these or one of the others, or maybe you draw Fenrir with Foolish Goods, okay, go get, you know, Regulus. Or maybe you draw Rocky with Foolish Burial Goods, okay? We'll go get Golgonda and the Pegasus, right? Like, it just gives you so many ways to play. And it just gives you options. The other reason why we are safely cutting this to 2, and if I'm being honest, if I'm being really honest here, you could almost even cut this to 1. It sounds insane to do. The only reason we're not is because you do, in a way, want to see this card because it is still Spriggans. But the other reason that we're playing Golgonda at 2 is because, obviously, of Spriggans Watch, right? Watch gets you to Golgonda or gets you to Rocky in your pieces. Fantastic card because you have 3 more copies of Golgonda. Playing it at 2 is completely safe. And then we play, of course, the 3 Tally-Ho. This is the best card in the deck. This card is the reason why this deck can even do anything at all. Your starters, they're great, they're fun, they're cool. But obviously, Tally-Ho is the reason that Spriggans can even create the boards that it creates. It is one of the best spell cards in the game, completely custom. And I'm glad it belongs to a very obscure archetype like this. I love this card. And I also wish it was not common. I wish it was foil. And then obviously the one branded in High Spirits, because you have to play it for kit. And then last but not least, because we're not playing hand traps, 3 talents. And the 44th card was 1 Change of Heart. Call by. Or you have to play called by. Basically, you know, you're going to get hand trapped. So Talents just felt like the best option. And I wanted one more card that was like a pseudo board breaker. And Change of Heart's kind of good, right? Like take their Appaloosa, take their Colossus, you know, just get them to force something out with Change of Heart. It can be really strong. So that is the main deck. It's 44 cards. So far, I'm really liking where it's at. I think the one thing that I might consider is taking out the Change of Heart for a second Regulus, because like Change of Heart doesn't need to be there. Because I kind of do want to see Regulus a little bit more often. But again, with Full Spiritual Goods, you can just get Pegasus with this Coliseum, and you can just go into that combo with the Regulus at the end. So you get Amber Whale, the one pop-off Sargus, 3 negate Appaloosa with Regulus, and Colossus on board. So, you know, it's 6 interruptions with Colossus just from Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus and having Regulus. So very good. Okay, for the extra deck, we play 1 Merrymaker. We only need 1 because it recycles itself. So 1 is good. So I'll go this way. Gosh dang. Yeah, you only need 1. I mean, it recycles itself, and not itself, but you recycle it with the Nemesis cards, and you know, you don't need to play more than 1. The extra deck is super tight, so you don't really need to play more than 1. This is X-Blower. Again, X-Blower is on its way. It's in the mail. I couldn't find one. If you don't want to play X-Blower, then you could just play something else, or you could just play another Merrymaker. It doesn't really matter. But X-Blower is good. You know, it attaches materials to it, or you attach materials to it, and then it can detach to blow up cards on your opponent's board, and then you can just use it for Sargus or use it for Zeus. So it's still a great card that you can use in the grind game. But again, if you don't want to play it, then you can just play another Merrymaker or something. Champion Sargus. This is a card that like also makes the deck go round, right? This is the one card where I'm like, maybe you need to play 2, but you don't really have to play 2. It just totally depends on your personal choice. We don't use its second effect as much in the way that these combos are, but it's totally up to you. And you can recycle it, so it's not really a big deal. You can always bounce it back to your hand with its own effect or something. So it's up to you. You can play 2. I play 1 because again, the extra deck's tight, and you can get away with playing 1. You don't really have to play 2. 1 Draco Sack. This is for the combo with with Fenrir. If you decide not to play that option or play that combo, then this is just 1 card you can take out of the extra deck. But yeah, I love Draco Sack. Draco Sack's actually my favorite card in the entire game, so this gave me an excuse to use my my copy. Banshee, just part of the combo, right? Searches for flag. It's a fire. Very good. Redoer. I needed 1 other good Rig 4 that's more generic. Redoer's kind of like the best one. This card's just a great Rig 4 option, but you can do whatever you want. Same with Emerald. So I don't have an SP Little Knight right now. Otherwise, this would probably just be SP Little Knight. But because I don't have SP Little Knight, I just went ahead and put this in there. You know, through one of the combos or through like grind game, you can recycle some cards. It doesn't really matter. No one really plays this card. So I mean, this could be anything. This could be a Abyss Dweller. Like I said, it'd be a Little Knight in my case if I could get a Little Knight. So yeah, this could be anything. Just kind of take that with a grain of salt. Zeus. I guess if anything too, if you like, I don't have Little Knight and like this isn't necessary, so I don't have a Typhon. You can do Typhon as well. Typhon would also be really good. I just don't have one. But Zeus. Obviously, you know, having the Springans cards the way that they are, you can stack them with a lot of material, attack, and then go into a Zeus. So a lot of times if you use Zeus, Zeus ends up being like a, you know, a 2-use type of Zeus at some point. Then we have Genius, part of the combo. IP, not really part of the combo, but just necessary. Promethean and Amber Whale. The fact this deck is fired and that you have access to this is so funny, and it just makes the combos like so good. It's so strong. Appaloosa, obviously Broken Ring 4 that, you know, one day is probably going to get banned, but it's okay. Play it while we can. And then the Thunder Dragon, Colossus, and the Sprint. Colossus having access to is insane, and Sprint is just there because you have to play it for the kit. So yeah, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the profile. You know, side deck is, you know, we're working on the side deck, but I really enjoy the deck. I really enjoy the Crystal Beast package. Again, I tell you guys, you know, give it a shot, try it out. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think of the profile, and yeah, we'll see you soon.